I'm getting the. There we go. All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for coming out for opening bell Monday, April 25th. We got our social this week. So that should be a lot of fun up in Northern California. We're going to do some fishing, some golfing, barbecue. So should be a lot of fun. Hope to see a lot of folks out there. Just want to remind everybody that trading futures contains risk. Only risk capital should be used. You can lose all your money trading futures, crypto, other investment products. So use risk capital. And you know, here at FNL, we really want to, our primary goal really is to protect folks as much as anything. We're not trade callers. We're not here to, you know, tell you when to get in a trade. What we do is share and collaborate on trade ideas. So, you know, but again, when it comes down to it, it's up to you to click that button or not click that button. So just be responsible with your money. And, you know, if you are having trouble with your trading or you feel like you're gambling, man, there's a lot of traders here that you can reach out to and talk to them about that. So what do you say, Travis? How was your weekend, buddy?
Yeah, it's pretty well. How about yourself?
It was good. It was good. Nothing spectacular. It's pretty relaxing. So, yeah, we got our social coming up this week. So we'll be having a lot of fun with that. So it's going to be kind of a short week for me. I'll be here. I might be here Thursday. Before I head up to the river, Sacramento River. But yeah, we should. We'll be doing pretty much normal schedule though. So
cool. Yeah, it was hot here this weekend. Took the dogs out on a walk. Went on a little trail that's near me. Nothing
awesome.
too out of the ordinary, but good little time.
Right on. Right on.
Gotta get out and see the sun every once in a while.
Oh yeah. Get away from the screens, folks. Anytime you can get away from the screens, take advantage of that. Get some sun. But boy, we had a big move down Friday after session, and I know quite a few traders that did real well with that move down. So you know, we'll talk about that a little bit. But really, our goal here today, just like it is every morning, is to go over our charts. And I did the disclaimer, so you're good. Go over our charts and OODA Loop our charts, starting with our daily, and go through different time frames. Get a kind of a trade plan for the day. Have some levels in there, so when price action does a certain thing, it goes up. We have something. We have a plan. If it goes down, we have a plan. If it goes sideways, we have a plan. We're not trying to predict where we think the price is going to go. We might have a little bias, but I would say the number one thing that we want to do is, looks like. Let me put my charts up here. There we go. I think Travis may have gotten booted off there. We lost his charts, it looks like. So our number one goal is to have a plan for the day. All right. Again, we're not trying to predict where we think the price is going to go. We might have a bias, but we want to have a plan and we'll be able to react to that price when it gets there. So we'll give Travis another second here to jump back on. You might be having some yeah, there he goes. There he is. And we'll start OODA looping our charts. So I did like that, what Stoney did. Stoney showed us a little X in the W, and I have one too, Stoney, but it was a little different than yours. Mine, I guess, would come down here a little farther.
Yeah. Yep. It very well could. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Travis. I'm going to stop.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Something, exited the whole meeting. I went to minimize that Zoom window with the participants. I guess I clicked the X, but
that's all right.
Right out of the room. Was like, oops.
No big deal.
First time for everything. So
you bet. So I was just talking about how we're not trying to predict, you know, where we think the price is necessarily going to go. We're not trying to say, oh, it's got to go up from here. What we're trying to do is have a plan for if the price goes up, the price goes down, or if the price goes sideways. So why don't you take it away, Travis?
Yeah, so a different way of wording that, identifying ahead of time at which points I will have an advantage in a trade. It's okay to not know what the market's doing right this second in time, but if I can say ahead of time, okay, if I get a trend and a pullback at this point, I like that trade. Or maybe like today, for example, you might look at the market and think if we keep going up and made a new high and then a retracement, I would like a retracement trade. So you might think about if after OB we pushed up, came down and turned around somewhere, you might be looking for a long. And that could be a plan in the back of your head. It doesn't even have to be exact. You don't have to be a 42.50.5 or no go on the trade type situation. Really just kind of a relaxed plan to say, you know, if we push up out of this and show a good retracement, I'll be looking for a long. Vice versa, we're kind of in a box this morning. If we stay inside this box, I'm probably thinking more towards the short from the top, long from the bottom type mentality, maybe even with a little bit of confirmation like we have before, a double bar. We didn't know the key level was there, but something similar to that, maybe what I'm looking for. Even right now, it could be very, very similar where it's showing you it's trying to turn at the last key level. But this goes back to we're in a big box, really. So we kind of have that lack of an underlying trend, if you will. Yes, you could even see that extends to the left, maybe even more, and you could see how those corners weren't above that. But anything you want to add to this before we move on to the daily? We're sideways this morning. Go ahead.
One more thing. If you chop that box in half right down the middle, look where all the price action's been. Right down the middle. Look at that. There's our mean. And the Bollinger Bands would probably probably say the same thing. So, anytime you guys draw this type of box or a chop zone, right? This would be a perfect chop zone. Draw the middle, find out where the middle is. Now, if you do decide you want to trade, short from the top, long from the bottom, you can go ahead and trade to the middle. You don't try to trade all the way through. So anytime that you draw a box, try to draw a middle, a median, a mean reversion. That kind of might give you a little bit of clarity too on your box. So yeah, let's go to the daily.
Agree. We actually talked about that this morning, Rob, was that this was our box of a chop zone, meaning you might go short from the top, long from the bottom, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to go short from the top and need it to go all the way back down to fill the trade. Correct. Same thing from the bottom side, going long from the bottom. Without a trend, really, you want to aim for about halfway, maybe even less of that box. Like Rob's saying, you could use your fib levels to find halfway or a different tool if you'd like to, but overall, find halfway of that box. And if you can fill before that point, now it's a somewhat reasonable or plausible trade. Whereas if I have to ask it to go all the way back across that box, no matter what direction it is, with the lack of a trend, that's a tall ask, if you will.
It is.
So on to the daily. We're sideways this morning. We're ranging. Might be breaking out, but we're coming back up through EMAs after being down over the last little bit. Sometimes I like to scrunch just to see what am I in for. And in this case, we could see we were way down before the sideways this morning. So let's go see what that looks like. Daily. We could close it in, see where the key levels are from. Sometimes I like to keep it about there because one of the levels we were looking at recently was this early February level that we actually did reject back out of and push down. That level was very relevant during the day. It's a little harder to see on the daily chart because we crossed back and forth through it. But at this point, there's our down of the last couple days. So
yeah,
Rob, you want to talk about a little bit of what you see, and then I'll kind of add
anything. We are at the bottom here, so a retracement would not shock me at all. To get back up in your channel would not shock me at all to see us maybe move up a little bit today. And if we tried to recover a little bit of that candle to your left, maybe if I broke up that candle, the big tall candle from Friday, if I broke that up, did a fib on that, then I could have some idea of where this price might like to go if it does decide to go up today. I'm not saying the price is going to go up. I don't know. But when it does go up, maybe we could have a target for the top side if it does decide to go up and get back in your channel.
I like that. And we could I like a balance between maybe the halfway point of this candle, wherever that exact might be, and then also the top of this channel, like you're saying, could be the balance of a target to say, even a runner, I'm not going past that. But just being aware of the market. Remember, we're looking at a daily chart. So this is a longer term tendency. If today pulls all the way back, and then tomorrow starts to paint down, that is a prime opportunity to think that tomorrow's downtrend could be the perfect downtrend, knowing that we've been in a down channel using the top to push down every time. So more or less looking at the market and saying, if this pattern continues, this is how I can take advantage of it. In this case, we've been running way down, like Rob says, these 3 days pretty big. Nothing says that today can't go down. So careful with a bias. It's easy to say it should pull back, but I think Rob's on the same side of the fence where today is a day that I'm going to take a step back and see where do we really want to go, because we have crossed outside of this channel. A common temptation there is to pull back, come back and retest that channel and push down. But if you look back at what happened, we pulled out, pushed down, came back up, And I mean, almost to the quarter tick of a channel that hasn't been moved. I'll zoom in when we get to the 4 hour to look at that a little closer. But we've already pushed out of the channel, come back, retested, and tried to push down again. So this could be the beginning of a really strong down push. The channel says it should go down from here. The market shows me it's a little overextended to the downside based on how big the last couple candles are, how fast it's been running down. It can't keep that up forever.
Yeah.
But where we're at right now on the channel says we should push down. So I'm going to be weary about that bias.
Just wait, right? It's more of just a wait and see.
Agreed. A couple other things I want to do, and before I do it, I'll talk about what I'm going to do. I see this purple box, which was one of the biggest levels we've had. See, back in October, that retracement I scrunched. It's hard to see the candles, but see where we retraced down to? That key level right there, bodies to wicks. I'm going to use that key level. I'm also going to use this big one that was the big bodies to wicks on the bottom side, showing a big range of support. And both of those are going to be key levels that I use on the bottom side of the market today. So looking in early October, your bodies to wicks, I'll give you an exact number so we don't have to guess. One way to get that exact number, I hit Control D, or if you have a mouse, you can click the center scrolly button. But I'm going to look at the close and then the low. So the close of this red one is going to be 42.74.25, the top of our box. The low of the green, 42.43. So it'd be 42.43 to 42.74.25. I'm going to actually type that. What did I say?
42.75. 42.74.
74.25. Thank you.
25. Yeah.
So just to have that one if anybody wants to use it later. But the idea is that the top of that may become a support zone. And right now we've actually tested through it. So what I'm going to do is extend this box to the price action we're on. Easiest way, double click it, use the end time, and go forward past today. So I'll just go to the end of this week. Now you can see we have another level that we've been testing last couple of days. And I'm going to go ahead and do this with the bottom box and then talk about what does this show me right now. Well, it's a couple areas that we're going to test. March, April, thank you. In terms of support. Doesn't mean they have to act as support, but it's a tendency that if it does happen, becomes confluent. So again, the purple box from the retracement in October, drawn bodies to wicks from the bottom of that level. And then the very bottom one, the big bodies to wicks area. And if we keep going, might use the double tap that we had after that as well to move forward. I would. If we continued down, that would be the next key level, would be looking at how we had a double tap bodies to wicks in that area. But overall, it gives us a couple areas on the bottom to act as support. If we crawled back out of this purple area, got really comfortable on the top, maybe with a green candle, not a yellow candle, but if you saw us start to maybe crawl out and show some support off that level, would be a really good sign that we want to push up based on the last time we pushed out of this level was really the biggest run a lot of people have ever seen on a MES market. So knowing that this is where it all started last time. And if we turn around here pretty strongly, could be, I mean, I can't expect, however far that is, hundreds and hundreds of point move up, but I can know that the market tells me it should go up if we start closing above this area. So I need to be really weary. We talked about going short off this channel. Well, it would give me a range. So let me zoom in just a little bit. And that range would be if we pushed up out of this area, I'm thinking long from the purple, short from the channel. And that gives me my range of execution, if you will, depending on where the market is. So those are kind of my thoughts right now.
You know, that's another really good example of trading level to level. So, you know, right there, that would be, from, let's just say from 60, 4260, let's just say, to 4300. Okay. There's a 40-point range that we could trade level to level. So if this does break out and start to go long, now we've got a top side that we can shoot to, that we can look for. You know, we want to do the same thing going down. So we can do the exact same thing. So you could go sideways from where we're at now and say, you know what, I'm not trading if it goes sideways. And we'll see this on the execution charts, on the smaller charts. But if it does drop below and makes a new lower low on the execution charts, now we've got a level to go down to, possibly all the way down to 4,200, the top of your, the top of that range. So now we've got our two levels that we could trade to. 4,300. Well, this kind of makes it easy, huh? 4,300 and 4,200. 4,300 on the top side, 4,200 on the bottom side.
I like it.
Nice even numbers too, so it's easy to remember.
I agree.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to add, it almost sounds like from a moderator standpoint, we're saying you should get in long and just have all of your fills sit up at that next key level. And that is not at all what I want you to get out of this.
No.
If anything, maybe you're the type of trader that doesn't extend their fills, but this just gives you confidence in the 5-minute uptrend. Remember, we're looking at a daily temptation. And again, like Rob said, 40, 50 points. So on the 5-minute, you could get a move that's a really good uptrend. And all it tells you in the back of your mind is, yes, this should keep going up until about that 4,300 mark, next key level, top of the channel. So as many times as I get a good entry signal, I will take it on our journey up there. And when we get to that level, maybe I take a step back and say, okay, we'll see if we can break it or if the trend wants to turn. Not necessarily having to predict it, but just knowing that it's a key level that now the market's going to have a little bit of a battle and has to decide, is it going to break back out of that? Or is it going to turn and head back down? And over time, you can predict pretty accurately ahead of time where those key levels will be. You can't always know which way it will break out of them. So bottom line, if I can fill all of my long trades before I'm back at that key level in the top of the channel, then those are higher percentage trades than going for trades with the moon that are outside of the expectation. Because if the market, again, keeps doing what it was doing, assuming it wanted to hold this channel again, it would go back to the top of the channel and this push down.
Yep.
So I want to ride the expectation and then get off the bus when it gets up to this top area and then figure out what does the market want to do. And
reassess.
Then if it wants, exactly.
Yeah. Reassess. So, all right, let's go to our 240. We got about 10 minutes left,
Thank you.
12 minutes. Yeah, you bet. So our 4-hour chart. Now, as you can see, we've busted out of the channel. Are we going to go right back up into it now? Or are we going to use it as resistance? That's what's kind of I'm wondering on this one, huh?
Both are very likely. And after a big down move like that, I mean, that just throws a big wrench into things too, doesn't it? Seeing that just red after red, it tells me that even though this is a shallow retracement, you could look at this chart very, very similarly than you do a 5-minute. Use the same fib levels, and you'll be amazed at how often they become relevant. Meaning looking at a 618 and 50% pullback from a larger scale can be just as important as on the 5-minute.
Yep.
So in this case, 50 to 618, right in the middle of that move is where we turned around last time. Wouldn't be uncommon. See how we had triple tap of support back there? That's going to be one key level that if we broke through everything would be a great place to go short. That's not my first place, but it's one of the first things that stands out to me just based on how strong that support was. It's like, well, if it became resistance, I would love that area. Yep. As of right now, the point I was trying to make was that the common tendency, like Rob was saying, is to retest the bottom of this channel, see how it was support over and over. So what was support often becomes resistance in the same area. Now, in this case, we'd be 15 to 20% retracement somewhere in that area, right? But what I was trying to point out is that I can't discount that 15 to 20% retracement because of how fast we've come down to it. So as much as I want to say, oh, it shouldn't turn there and it should pull back more, if it does turn right at this channel and starts going down, I have to know that I don't want to doubt that move. Whereas if I don't have the channel here, I'm probably thinking, well, it should come up. I don't know if I trust this downtrend. If I see this downtrend turn right at my channel and then the 5-minute shows a perfect downtrend, I have to accept it and say, maybe that's as far as it wanted to pull back. And that channel could give me the confidence to say, I'm going to trust this downtrend. Go ahead, Rob.
No, you got it, dude. That's 100% correct, man. And for me on my 240, we're right back in the channel on my channel. So my channel is a little bit lower than yours because I have these bottoms here in my channel, or at least right there. So we're almost right back up in it now. So a little bit different, but it's still about the same. Still about the same.
1 hour.
So, yep. I would say go to your 60 now. Yeah, I would say. Anybody else have comments on the 240 on the 4-hour chart?
Let's put a... just rough estimate.
Mhm.
4270-ish, between 4270 and 75 is when we get back to the channel. You might expect a little bit of hesitation in that area. If we break through it, you might see a little bit of a motion to the long side, knowing that it might pick up support, it might break through a key level there. So knowing this is a big pivot point, if we can stay under it, likely to stay down. If we get above it, you might look for a retest and a push in the long direction, in the direction of the move.
And by that point, we're probably in an uptrend as well. So if
Agreed.
it gets up to there, you could probably say that, when you're looking at a smaller time frame, that, hey, we're in an uptrend.
Right.
So now you're trading long. So now you've got a defined trend that you want to trade.
1 hour looks very similar. A lot of times I treat the 240 and the 1 hour very similarly, looking for those larger scale tendencies, any maybe big channels or something. But anything stand out for you? Want to just?
No, not really. I mean, we're kind of in the same boat here as the 4 hour. We are starting to see a move up now, but again, we're still kind of at that level to where, man, could go up, could go down.
Mhm.
We really need opening bell to give us some more direction. We needed the rush of orders. We need that 30-second opening range to give us a little more clarity on which way this price wants to go after opening bell when the U.S. market opens.
Agreed. So here's the 15.
Well, that really looks sideways, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip down to the 5. 15
Yep.
shows us that big down move from the last couple days. And now we're sideways overnight into this morning. So if you go to the 5 minute, you'll see just that. The sideways overnight into this morning, that big purple band is the one we just talked about that actually came all the way from the daily. But you can see it's the one I was going to show on the 240. We broke under it and then came back to it. And now we're coming back up through it. So goes back to the daily, but on the 5 minute, it's the purple band at the top that we've used a couple times, and now we're back in it again, thinking if we get above this area later today.
Oh, right.
So if we're above 4275, likely to push up.
Yeah, we're here now too. So this is it. This is the level, folks. What I'm hoping for, honestly, is that we have a breakout, opening bell, come down. This is my plan for long. And we retest. Now, the 30-second opening range is going to be a big factor in this as well. Because are we going to have our opening range at the top here, or are we going to have the opening range down here somewhere? Right? Because we still have 7 minutes left. They can do a lot in 7 minutes. So
if this level holds cleanly, you might expect support off of the bottom of the purple box, knowing that, again, it was the bodies to wicks area from the retracement we had, to say October, a long time ago. Keep going. Yes, October of last year. Had 5 different candles right there. So common tendencies being, if we break under that area, come back, retest it, push down. If we break above it, retest it, push up. And then oftentimes, if you're in the middle of it, you'll see it actually ping back and forth. And this is the one we will be looking at if it happens, the one where it pings off the middle. So knowing that, going back to the 5 minute, we're seeing that big purple level. We've broken back into it. We used it as resistance a couple times, crawled into it. Not unlikely that it will become support after this morning's opening bell.
we've got an EMA there too. You've got a nice little
21's
level.
there.
Yep, the S1 is right there. So you've got a lot of little things right there, a lot of little indicators that might tell you that, hey, this could be a spot for it to turn around. So we just have to wait and see, right?
Agreed.
So in terms of a stop, well, to go short, I need my stop to be around 42.55, which is going to be tough. I'd have to get in around 42.50 to go short. If I'm going to go long, which is my bias right now, because we did just make a higher high. Boy, what do I want to clear to go long? Well, ideally 42.33, but boy, that's 10 points below or 15 points below where we're at almost. So that's going to be tough. So right now, it's this very second going long is tough. Position is actually a little bit better to go short. Because we haven't had that turnaround yet that I need to clear. We haven't had a confirmation of a turnaround yet to clear on a long trade. So I have to go back a little bit farther. because if this did want to retrace, it could come all the way down to 35 to 40, then go, which would be the top of the box too.
Right.
Top
We
of
have
your
a
range.
shallow retracement, but being
Exactly.
an OB, it's like I don't want to only clear a couple points down from me. So I agree. This is actually a scary market to me. I saw a member drawing a channel on my screen. Thank you. I didn't see who it was. I kind of came
Derek,
back to try and find the same one, but I like how same angle on both sides. Kind of cuts off the bottom, but you can see we recreated a double bar off of that level as support. So I do like this channel. I saw it as I was walking out. I wasn't at my charts, but you can see we pushed out the top, tried to retest the top, pushed up, couldn't make it past the 200 and are now falling down. So there's a lot of conflicting views right now, and that the 200 oftentimes is, I like to call it a last line of defense for a retracement, if you will. A lot of times if you're going down, your final retracement area that I'm still willing to go short from is the 200. So if somebody were to clear their stop above the 200, above double bar turnaround up here, get their stop above it and go short, not a bad play at all, knowing that market has been strongly down the last few days. And like Rob said, if I'm looking long, there's a chance it turns and uses as support what was resistance, but it hasn't already confirmed it. Whereas it's already shown me twice in a row, it wants to turn around at the top side. On the long side, I'm assuming where it's going to, which at times you can be very accurate. It's just good to point out which side of the coin you're on.
I think with 3 minutes left here, I think I'm going to try to do a limit order right around the 89 moving average going along. So we're going to be right around the 36, 37, 38, somewhere in there. That way I can get my stop, below that 35, below that. I need to get it below that, at least my stop. So if I'm going to go long, and I'll do a limit order here.
Yeah, we're racing to the middle for opening bell. We're late getting there, so we kind of had to throw our shoes on, and our tie's not tied yet, but we're trying to get to the middle.
I like it. Bell. I like that. So I'm going to bottom feed a little bit here, right at the 20 or 89 period moving average. I think I'm going to put a limit order in at 38, going long, and see if this pops down and gets me. If it doesn't, fine. I don't want to be in a trade long right now at this spot, me personally, because my stop's really in jeopardy. I have this whole candle right here I have to worry about recovering. So I don't know. There's nothing really to stop it from going down a little bit farther other than the EMAs. So that's me personally, but folks have to decide what they want to do.
So I agree, but there's a couple different things I'm looking at. The last confirmation we had was off the 89 and 21. So if I were to use the last place of confirmation, it's the 21 as well as the bottom of my box. So I have 2 points of confluence right here that I'm going to actually enter here with a 4-point stop. And just if I get stopped out, I'll look for a place to re-enter. But this is a good enough spot that I'd like it to push up for me. Watch me miss my trade right off my key level. But if so, then so be it. There we are. We're in the trade. I need to get it to 4 instead of 3. That's my plan. We're actually hitting opening bell. Rut row. Hold on. So welcome.
Yep, here we are. 20 seconds
20
left.
seconds.
Yep. So I do have a limit order at 39. I'm going to see if this will pop down a few points and grab me and then make its way up.
I like it. My stop will be 39.5. So if you get picked up, I will stop out and be thinking about getting back in. I'm in at 43.50 off of a place where we had rejection and then potentially support where the 21 and the bottom of the purple box were there. So if I get blown out, I get blown out. That's as much as I'm willing to risk from the OB opening. Now after that, I may decide to get back in. There you go, Rob. Are you in?
Nope. Kiss me. There, now I'm in.
Oh, there it is.
Now I'm in.
Okay.
So now we'll look for the turnaround here, hopefully at the 89. And I only have to go to 45 to fill. It's only a 6-point gain. So I'm just trying to trade this really small range right here.
I like it. And
yeah, again, I'm not trying to do too much, right?
Agreed. So again, seeing us come off those tops right there, there are other mornings you might extend, or I might have extended my entry points or extended a stop, but really that is a strong turnaround signal to the downside. So in my mind, I was willing to risk it turning around at the key level, but I didn't want to hang on to this in case it wanted to run against me.
Yeah.
So if this does keep going, that's why I'm happy to stop out, maybe think about an entry point off the channel if we get a turnaround there. It's likely to turn around right at that channel and not pick me up, and I'm going to wait on confirmation.
And I just got stopped out too. So, yeah, that higher high really, we got to wait for a good turnaround now.
Yeah, we already hit
Agreed.
the pay line on the bottom side
And-
from opening range.
What do you have our opening range, Randy?
I do. It is 38 and a quarter to 44.
Perfect. Thank you. So we'll put that in.
That's right at my other box. Cool.
38 and a quarter to 44.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I'm going to load my 30-second range. The way I do that, double click, pull up the properties, template, load, and then choose the one that I have designed, which in this case is orange.
Yeah, and this boy, no wick on this at all.
No, it's not. It didn't look back. And we haven't been down to the lower two Bollinger in a while, so that's kind of not unexpected to me.
Correct.
It may be as far as we get.
So a lot of times what I'll do too is I'll just, because I get so many levels on my chart, I'll just kind of draw the opening range in a different color and just have it just sitting there on the top and the bottom. I already have the opening range, but sometimes I get opening ranges on top of each other or levels on top of each other. So I'll just kind of draw it in there. Now, what I'm going to probably be looking for is the price to come back up, test the opening range, and maybe get in short off that opening range. And that's for an opening range trade. That's not, I'm still trying to decide which way I want to trade in terms of, going to my live account and trading. I don't know which way to go. We're right in the middle of the chop zone right now. And we had determined that this is our chop zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can do anything in this area. It could come down, turn around, and make a move up. We could just chop back and forth. I have no clue until it makes a move going up or makes a move going down and gets out of this area. I'm probably just going to preserve some capital and wait for the price to tell me which way it really wants to go and not be in an emotional, just bunch of candlesticks happening, which is what's happening now, obviously, with opening boom.
Yeah. Well, they found some momentum to the downside.
It did.
We got, when it gets to the bottom of that chop zone, will it break through?
Yeah, exactly.
That's where to watch. If it tries a couple of times there and can't make it through, it may try to swing back through the other side.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the I put a limit order in that I thought was a pretty good spot, and I'm okay with the results. But this is one of the problems, in my opinion, with putting in a blind limit order, right? The price hits it and just keeps going. So, at opening bell, we don't wait for that confirmed turnaround, right? Like we do when we're
looking for the momentum.
Yeah, we're looking for the momentum and get good position for the price to turn around at a certain level and to clear our stop. And in this scenario, there was just nothing we could really do. The only thing we could have done is possibly go short. The only problem with going short was our stop would have been bad. We would have wanted to have our stop around 42.55, and we were taking the trade at 40.
Sure to get to the middle, so your stop would be bad before you could get in.
Exactly. Yeah. There was no so even if we put a limit order in going short, it wouldn't have picked us up because we couldn't have cleared our stop. No way. It would have been a 10-point stop. When the price came in at 42.44 or whatever it was. So now it's just kind of a wait and see, folks.
So we did not turn. Go ahead, Randy.
No, go ahead, Travis.
I was just looking for the retest at the OB range, but also we're breaking back into that channel. To me, gives me a very tight area, but I am going to trade the opening bell range with you. So.
Yeah, we just hit the third pay line was what I was going to say. We hit the 12 points. Look how it reacted.
Yeah. Yep.
But you got that double bar there and, all the other things that we look at. It's kind of, if you drew an up channel from the latest 2 wicks going up too at least on the 30-minute, but I guess that we were talking about, we pretty much hit it.
I'm in.
I'm in as well. 3-point stop, and I have
a 2-point stop.
Nice.
Yeah, 42. I'm in at 42.38. I could have done
I hit my
48.25,
floor.
38.25, but I like to have round numbers.
So we scaled out. I have it set up. I usually cancel my third contract. I couldn't move it fast enough. I have a third one that trails right now. I usually cancel it before I get in the trade. I didn't that time. So what you saw was me break +1 on my third contract. So now if it goes straight back through and stops me out, then I will lose 3, but I will have made 4 and 4 and 1. So there it went. It did stop me out.
Yeah,
so
me
I
too.
made 4, 4, and then 1 on the positive side, 8, 9, and then lost 3. So 6 points, if you will, but from 4 contracts, that really goes down to roughly 1.5 points.
Yep.
So I averaged 1.5 points. If all of my contracts were tied up together as a gain and a stop, I made 1.5 points. Whereas 2 of them scaled out at 4, 1 was out at 1, and 1 was still negative. The one that was negative was going to be the runner. So,
and the whole goal of this trade is to catch momentum. This is not a grinding trade. This is a trade where you take a couple stabs at it and try and get that, 4 contract trade where you get out at 4, 8, 12, and 16.
Yeah.
So you try to take as small stops as you can.
Yeah, small stops so that you can take a couple of swings and, and over time too, watch what happens. So this is, since we're still in this chop zone, this is a high, especially with that first move, it's got a high probability of swinging back through and trying the other side, especially the way it rejected down there.
Yep.
Not saying that it will, if it comes back through, that's a great place to get back in and see it go down again, because it has been down there.
Yep. No, I'm definitely I'm looking to do it again. So I'll take a couple stabs at it here. And it took me when was that, Friday? It took me 2 stabs at it. I think Wednesday it took me a couple stabs at it.
Yeah. Thursday I think was the best one, but
Friday missed that one.
Had a little chop. Friday had more chop than Thursday.
Yeah.
So I think Thursday had one chop, and where it came back and stopped out small and then went, and it was good.
So now we just got to wait, folks. Big moves each way. Now we're going. Boy, look at this price action, you guys. Which way do I trade? Which way do I trade? I did not get in a trade of going through the top. I didn't either. Yeah.
I ended up simming in that the 2 Sigma account, Randy. I got in right down there, right where that red candle came in.
Oh, great. That's a great
27. Yeah, and I traded and I got 5 points on the first fill, and then I went up to the center Sigma. I pulled 20 points out of it.
That's beautiful.
I really like that trade. If you really pay attention to it, it's pretty good one to follow rules.
Yeah, it's a real good one. Watch the bigger moves and your levels, and wow, yeah, it's great.
Yep. My OB one stopped out. I did a similar one to you, Rob.
Yeah.
Down there, and it got stopped out. But
now I did just get in. I did just get in the opening range trade going short.
Yeah.
So I got in 42.38. Hit the first pay line.
Yep.
And we're coming up on the second pay line.
I almost want to go long right where we sit right here at the bottom of the channel, though, because we have a double bar off the bottom of the channel, but we're under the EMAs, so it's a really, really conflicting area to me that
it's hard to clear your stop too.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to clear that wick, ooh.
Be interesting to play in this level again.
There's so much, like the OB range now tells me it should go down. My channel tells me it should go up, which explains to me a little bit of this consolidation right here. It's like, well, let's figure out which way we want to go from right here. As much as I want to go long from the channel, I'd have to break through OB range, which just had a huge wick down from that area that something pushed it down. So to me, this is a take a step back. I like the idea of short off the OB range. I like the idea of long off the channel, but to me, that's 4 points of execution and 4 points of I'd need out of a trade, if not more, knowing that ATR is up near 8.
Yeah.
So I need a big trade, and I don't have an expectation that tells me how far it should go. Off the bottom of the channel, I really like, but at the same time, there's the OB range we're testing. So there's our proof of consolidation, if you will, and why we're ranging right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive right now in the account, so I'm kind of waiting for the obvious thing. I did take the one out the top and it did hit the pay line, so I'm going, okay.
Yeah.
Give enough back right now. I'm waiting for something obvious.
Yeah, and we just got hit us right on our stop. So we took a -2 on that one. We had +4, and then we had 3 contracts left at -2 each, so that'd be -6. So we ended up going -2 on that one. So we're -10 on the opening range trade so far. And now we just kind of have to wait, see what happens.
Yeah, that's what I've given back was 10. So I'm still, that's pretty good.
I'm going to try one more time going short. So see if we can get in here. Oh, come on, missed me. Nope, didn't get me in. Didn't do it in time.
It's still ranging. You might leave it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to leave it. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. We take one more crack at it here, and then we're done.
Yeah, what I really like to see is like if this candle closes without a higher wick and then another wick comes in that's lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good sign that it's dropping down and gonna swing back down.
Yep. So we're in at 42.38, and we just hit our. No, we didn't. Almost hit the pay line. Come on. There we go. So we hit the pay line. I'll go ahead and share for a second, Travis, so they can see what I'm talking
And
about.
for those that don't know the opening range trade, the pay line is 4 points from your entry, which is
Correct.
The bottom or the top of the opening range. And so that's where you go, you take your first profit, and that makes you neutral in the trade. Now, if it came down and stopped you out right on your stop, I mean, you've paid for the trade. That's the concept. So you have no risk in the trade, which is
well,
great.
yes and no. If it went and stopped me out, I'd be -2 on the trade.
Well, it depends. Yeah. The way Rob's doing it. Now,
Yeah,
another way to do it where once it hits that pay line, you move yourself just inside the opening range to where if it hits you,
that's the other way of doing it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm testing this. I've been doing it for a few months now, and it's still learning. That's for sure. So our first trade we had a -8.
In any case, you've got a really
Second trade
reduced risk
was a -2
in a multi-contract trade.
Yep. Now, if we can fill on this one, then we move our stop down. So if we can get down to 42.30, get out of this contract, this one down here, get out of this one, and then go ahead and move our stop down. Then the worst we can do is +14 on it.
Pretty good for a day in it, right?
Yep. So there we go. So now we're minus. So now we're wait, we're not done with the trade yet, but I am going to move my stop down.
That's looking good.
Yep. So here we go, folks, for our +12. Hey, Travis, I'm going to put yours down. Just.
Oh, I thought you did. I'm a bad.
No, that's all right. Just for the YouTube. Okay, so we just hit our +12 on this one. So
you're gonna make me wish I had gotten back in now.
I know, right? So we have a -2. So we've taken
hit 16 now.
We've taken a +4 now. We've taken a +8, and we've taken a +12. And the final one will be +16. So you can see how taking a couple cracks at this, sometimes you gotta take a couple cracks at it.
Yeah. Well, see, you're just the root. See, I did the first one and got the fills and then gave back 10. You gave back 10, and now you've hit one.
Now I've hit mine. Yeah.
So we're at the same point level right now.
Yep. And now worst I can do on this trade is if this zooms back up, I'll make +1 on this final contract. Best I can do is plus 16 for this final contract. Again, though, I'm not looking at trading a direction yet. I'm not looking to get into a trend trade until we drop below the box that we have, the level we have down here that Travis had identified this morning. Same with the one on the top. I'm not looking to get into a trend trade, right? A trend trade until I get below that or above the top one. Otherwise, I'm just ranging. I might go to a different account and trade a 2-to-2 cross trade like Titus did this morning.
No, we're just crossing back and forth, expanding the Bollingers right now. Now, if we start pushing one side, then you're in a trend.
Yep. So we almost filled here for plus 16. There we go, plus 16. So
all right.
So 8 and 10. So those two cancel each other out. Plus 2, plus 32 on one contract.
Mm-hmm.
Not too shabby, folks. Not too shabby. Now, it's something we're practicing. You know, you have to have a little bit bigger account to do it, but there's going to come a time in the next 6 months, I would say. We're here for the long term that we're going to be doing this. So I've actually tried it live and didn't do that great on it. So I decided I'm going to go back to sim.
It's hard to do it just once. You almost have to commit to doing it a week because you'll have a bad day.
I know.
Or you'll pick the day that doesn't work well.
Yep.
You know, one day last week was just, or 2 days were extreme chop. But you'll notice the pattern when you have days like that, the chop will start getting lighter until you get to the day that has none.
Yep. And you just
then it'll start coming back in.
Yep.
And so, you know, you'll kind of see that wave. It's kind of like a sine wave of them.
So thanks, Derek, for posting the 30-second ranges on the NQ and the Russell as well. Looks like they're all kind of looking the same, huh? Everything's looking pretty similar in the chop zones for everything. I don't really see anything that's telling me a direction to trade yet.
What's really interesting is the 200 period on the 5-minute is held on all three. So
interesting.
Yeah, so they're kind of in sync.
Yep.
Yeah, they were in sync Friday, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they look identical. The 30-second zones are about the same distance below the 200. So yeah, they look all identical.
So I think we're probably going to call opening bell now. End it a little early. I just don't see where we've developed a direction to trade just yet. We really need
momentum to the downside, but we got
the momentum's to the downside, but we've had some big moves, folks. So again, Travis, anything you want to end with?
Just trade carefully. Do recognize we have 2 to 3 times the average candle size, maybe not of the last couple months, but of your average MES candle that's usually about 3 points. Today we're 8.5. So be careful jumping into trades without really pointing out exactly where your stop will be in a trade. You might think you're going to clear a key level when you don't. So just trade safely, y'all. Look for a trend, trade your retracements, make sure your stop's clear if you can.
Have your targets, right? Have your targets. So for me personally, if I'm in this area, I'm not interested in trading. I need the price to drop below, retest to go short. Same thing here. If we come back up, swing through the top, anything in here, I'm just not interested in trading it.
Yeah.
Because then I don't know what the trend is. We've been ranging in this whole area. What you could do though is go to your Bollingers, and if you want to do a 2-to-2 cross, practice that. That would be a good one to go to the middle. So you'd go long at the bottom, short at the top, and try and get to the middle. And that's how you do it. So thanks everybody for coming out. And I think we're going to shut her down, and we'll see everybody tomorrow morning. We got a full day of trading though here for members. But hey, thanks Travis. You're the best, brother.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Nice coming on with you.